Hey everyone, Random Randy here, coming to you from the Mom Cave. This is Yarn Talk, a knitting, crochet, and various other yarny bits podcast dedicated to giving you your recommended dose of fiber arts in 60 minutes or less. If you are concerned that your fiber intake may be lower than the recommended dosage, feel free to subscribe to the channel so that more awesome projects like these can keep your hands and your heart full. It is currently December 30th, so it is almost 2019. It's 12/30/2018. And lots of things are going to be changing in the next month or two for me, so I'm going to try to maintain a consistent upload schedule. However, that may mean that I just have to do short little clips on my phone, because I'm not quite sure where we're going to be living in about a month, so that's exciting and anxiety-inducing all at the same time, as I'm sure you can imagine. So it has been 2.5-ish weeks since I did my last yarn talk. I did do a few Vlogmas videos in between, but then the craft fair happened and Christmas happened. Christmas just got over a few days ago, and I've just been all over the place, been in a make all the things kind of mode and a get rid of all of the things mode, because we're going to be moving so many things. I will talk more about that after I show you all the cool stuff that I've been working on. So I will start off with finished objects because that is what I have the most of, and it is highly unusual for me to have so many even in an almost 3-week span. There are actually more things, but I didn't feel like digging through the bins of stuff that I made just before the craft fair that I still have. But I need to go through and make a list of everything so that I can add some things to my Etsy shop and plan out this online craft market that I've been wanting to do for quite some time after seeing Wanda from Rolling Through Life and Jeanette from DIY Creation 7 do it. Essentially, all it is I go through, I have a list of all the products that I want to sell. I hold them up, I show them, I do the Vanna White thing and tell you all of the marvelous properties of this wonderful product which you need in your life and how much it costs, and then people say, hey, I want to buy that, or there's crickets and nobody wants to buy it. And I say, okay, moving on. You want to buy it? I write it down, keep a tally, and at the end give you a shipping total. Get paid within, we'll say 24 hours. I feel like that's fair. And if there is no payment, then it will go back up for sale again at some point. And if you pay me, then I pack up your stuff and send it in the mail and you get all your goodies. And then I eliminate the middleman of Etsy taking a very large chunk of my profits, in addition to collecting a profit from the total of the shipping itself, which is a new thing Etsy is doing that's super fun if you didn't know. Yeah. So I've been talking about business stuff instead of showing you yarny stuff. Shut up, Randy. Anyway. Yarn stuff. So this first thing I'm just going to hold up and then I'll insert a clip of me showing you the whole thing because I have one over on my Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, which is just Random Randy's Ramblings, all one word, no caps, no punctuation, because that's just Instagram. You will have already seen this, but this monstrosity right here, if I can even hold it up, drowning under it here. This blanket is a knitted blanket. You can see it's garter stitch. This is a knitted blanket made with Bernat Blanket Big Yarn, which is a number 7 or a jumbo weight yarn. It is a fleece yarn. It is hugely huge. And you will have also seen, if you follow me on Instagram, a little demo video of me working on a strip of it with these monstrosities. These are 50mm knitting needles. 50. 50, not 15. 50. These things are huge. I call them my vampire stakes. Not that I would probably want to stake a vampire were I ever to come across one, but these, with this giant yarn. So this is 4 balls of the Bernat blanket big yarn. And I just did a strip of garter stitch, knitted a strip of garter stitch and used each ball as much as I possibly could and left just a long enough strand to be able to sew each portion to the next portion, and there we go. It is not quite as long as I would like, so I might have to get one more ball and make a horizontal strip to sew onto the bottom so it's a little bit longer. Width-wise, it's perfect. It is wide enough to comfortably wrap around part of my back if I were of such a mind to. So it is perfect lap blanket size. It is very heavy. Each ball is 10.5 ounces, so all told this blanket at current is 42 ounces, which is 3 pounds and some change, I believe. Yes, somewhere in that range. It's ridiculous. Super heavy. Slept like a baby last night, put it on the bed on top of everything else, and I didn't move all night. It's the first night I've slept quasi-well in a while, despite the fact that both of my kids ended up in bed with me. Yay! So, there's that. First thing. Super, super, ultra, giant, squishy blanket. And it is so soft. It is marvelously wonderful. And I got the yarn at Michael's. I actually had the red and gray in my stash, taking up space on a shelf for a long time. And I was planning on maybe making cowls with it. And then I decided to just knit the whole ball and see how big the strip was. And then I was like, I might as well just make the other one and see how wide it turns out. Then I saw it and said, okay, so that right there with 2 of them is half of a blanket. I just need to go buy 2 more. So I did. And all of the yarn at Michael's, anything that was, what was it? Each of these balls of yarn is regularly $9.99, and anything in that price range was on sale for $7. So I saved a couple of bucks off of each ball. It's whatever. I mean, it's huge. So comfy. Definitely worth it. I will say that knitting with those giant needles is very much a shoulder workout. If you were to just try to knit with your wrists, you're gonna hurt yourself. So it was more of an elbow, whole arm knitting kind of thing, but I think I got a strip done in under 2 hours, so all told less than 8 hours for a sizable blanket. Not bad. Stay. Hi, Mr. Kitty. Nurgle is sitting over here on the desk. Let's see if I can turn it so you can see. There's Mr. Kitty, sitting in his bed, happy to be part of things. Other things. I have a big bag of stuff, and I'm probably gonna go kind of quick because I want to get this done before Adam gets back with the kids. Because as soon as they walk in the door, it is pandemonium. So this is one thing that I did that I ended up not selling at the craft market. And it is just a rose made with a scrap ball of yarn. It is attached to an alligator clip. So you can put it in your hair, you can put it on a bag, you can put it on anything. And it's hot glued on with 2 layers of felt around the top portion of the clip. It's a really simple pattern, free pattern. I don't remember who I got it from, but I will go back through my Pinterest and I will link it below. But I made one in this color, and I also did one in Red Heart Super Savers Zebra. I think those were the only 2 that I did, though. People looked at them, but nobody bought them. All right, other things. So I'm going to show you this one, which you just kind of saw anyway. If you don't know, it is that time of year. The Women's March is coming up January 19th, so it is pussy hat season. And I got this one done. It has 2 different strands of some variety of Red Heart Super Saver or another. I got 3 trash bags full of whole and partial skeins of acrylic yarn and solid colors this summer for very, very cheap. I think it was something like 85 or 88 balls of yarn, and I paid less than $60, maybe $60 even for it. Either way, super duper cheap. So happy. But this is 2 strands held together, and this is my feline fine hat pattern, sort of. So instead of doing, like in the video, which you can watch, it's a free tutorial video that I've got up, double strand of yarn, 8mm hook, and instead of just doing it the height from the unrolled brim to here, I just doubled that and only had to do 10 rows back and forth instead of doing it short rows all the way around and then seaming the top. So this way I just do the full length, seam up both sides, sew in the ends, roll the brim, ta-da! Very simple. I have a lot of pink scraps that I'm going to be using up doing this. I also have different shades of pink I'm going to be using. So there's that one that I just finished before I started recording, which is why the ends are not sewn in. You know, I'm usually pretty good about doing that. Can't really consider it finished until you do that, you know. So I have another one that is the same size, and I have this one, which is significantly longer. This was the first one that I did the long way, and it turned out to be immensely thicker brimmed than I was expecting it to be. So the brim comes up to here, which is kind of a bit too much in my opinion. It should be more down in this region. I mean, I guess you could fold it back over again, but that makes it feel tighter, and that's just, yeah, so that. So I will have 3 of those, and I'm going to be adding these to my shop with a bunch of other stuff. I have so much stuff made that I need to list, you guys. It's ridiculous. So that's 5 things, if you count the one that needs the end sewn in. Alright, let's see what else I got in here. Oh my goodness. Alright, I'll do those all together. Other things, oh my goodness. I have so much stuff in here that I've made in the last couple of weeks, it's ridiculous. Alright, this, if you saw the video where I was announcing the winner of the unicorn giveaway, you will have seen this hat. This hat is actually, has a very high wool content, which is abnormal for things that I make. This hat is, again, 2 strands held together. One of these strands, this is actually 2 scrap balls of yarn, and then another yarn altogether. So this bottom portion is Red Heart Super Saver, Dove, the gray bits that you can see, and up in the top there's a darker gray that I don't know if you'll be able to see with the light. Maybe. There we go. There's a slightly darker gray up here, and that is left over from a ball of Red Heart Super Saver ombre anthracite, maybe is the name, whatever the gray ombre is. But the copper and gold colors and the bright shiny silver that you see all throughout this is actually Harmony wool, which is an ice yarn, and it is a variety of colors ranging from a very shiny silvery white all the way up to, there are some portions in here that are black, like here in the front. But Harmony wool is 60% wool, 40% acrylic. So that is that, and it has black and white fuzzy pom-pom, and these are the ones with the snaps, so you can unsnap it to wash it, or you could change out the pom-pom to wear a different one if you wanted to. I have just bought 1 pack of these pom-poms on Amazon. I haven't decided if I like them enough to bother getting more or not. I don't know. So that's another one that's done that I can't leave near my dragon-eyed cat staring at me, because apparently Nurgle likes the smell of wool. He has tried to eat that hat on several occasions, and I've been like, no! This is another scrap project. I've been going through the partial balls of yarn that I have and trying to use things up. So this is a messy bun hat. This is made with a strand of Red Heart Super Saver Fall and some neutral-ish green. I'm not quite sure which. So this is a messy bun hat, fit to grown up. This is all acrylic, just really simple back loop only brim, and then a few rows of double crochet, decreasing it gradually. There's that. This one, I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. I'm hoping that someone will enjoy it. It is not exactly my cup of tea, but when you're making things to sell, it's not always all about you. So this would be for someone with a significant amount of hair, because it ended up longer than I would have liked. It is supposed to be a messy bun or ponytail hat. This is made with a strand of woolly Stick and Quick and more of the Harmony wool. I feel like, I don't know, it's just too much neutral going on, even with the glitter for my taste personally. Doesn't mean it's bad, just not my thing. There's that. Oh. Lord, I have way too many hats. This, you will have seen me make one similar to this before, but not with this particular yarn. So this has the basket weave brim, which is just the last 6 rows working down from the top. You do the basket weave stitch 3 rows, and then you do the following 3 rows in the opposite direction, and the rest of it's just double crochet. I think I did this with an eye hook. Eye hook seems about right. But this one has a purpley palm because it seemed to match it. It is a little bit slouchy, and this is made with Stitch Studio by Nicole yarn, which is from AC Moore. The type of yarn is Mystic Waves, and I believe that this particular colorway is Redwood. It has been a very long time since I've been in an AC Moore, but this is some of the last of this yarn that I had. I've been kind of deep stash diving and trying to use up the oldest stuff that I have. But as you can see, it just kind of rolls through this really nice dark gem rainbow progression of color, and I just really, really like it. I think I actually made this from 2 different scraps of that same yarn. And this is a partly wool yarn, but it's more acrylic. I can't remember exactly what the ratio is, but it's very soft, it's very stretchy, very nice and pretty. Hello, Mr. Kitty. What's up, my boy? Don't knock over mommy's coffee, please. Thank you. Alright, other things. What have I got? Alright, I have 2 more hats and a headband, and then 3 more hats that are all part of a pattern series I'm working on. So I'm going to show you this first, which is something I wore when I did my live a little while ago, not too terribly long ago. Which side's the outside? I guess this is the outside. So this is the, oh, what is it called? I want to say this is called the Crossed Paths headband. And it's a sailor's knot, and for whatever reason it is not fitting on the mannequin head, who apparently has a tiny head, but it fits on my giant head just fine. So with this neutral Muirwoods brown, it kind of looks like a pretzel. In my opinion, it looks like a pretzel. But this is Muirwoods from Premier Yarns, and this colorway is Chipmunk. And I loved working with this yarn. I have decided that Premier Yarns is my favorite acrylic maker in the history of Everness. They are wonderful. There's just so many different little color bits going on in here. I love it. It's perfect. This was a super easy pattern. It's a free pattern. Essentially, you just make 2 strips and then you overlap it in a certain way and seam it up, and sew it shut. Super simple, would be very good for craft fairs. I plan on making a lot more. I actually had a few people ask if I could make them in different colors, and I'm like, have you met Mustache? Of course I can do it in different colors. I can do anything in just about any color you want me to, as long as I have the yarn, because I am not buying any more for a bit. So that headband. Other thing, this, I actually got the idea for this from watching Zelda NRJ3, Miss Z. A lot of you know her. She is wonderful and I love her, and maybe someday I can meet her in person. Getting to hang out with her and Claudia would be so much fun. But I was watching one of her videos and she was talking about a cowl she was making. That was a Bob Wilson 123 pattern, I believe. And instead of normal moss stitch where you do single crochet, chain one, single crochet, chain one, and then in the next round you do the opposite, you single crochet into your chain one spaces, etc. This is done with double crochet, and you actually go into the top of the stitch that is one row down below, so it's almost like a spike stitch. And this is Red Heart Soft. Cannot remember what this colorway is, but done in Red Heart Soft, so it's acrylic. This is an adult size, it's mildly slouchy. I just started at the top and did regular increases until I got done with the increasing portion, and then I started doing the double crochet, chain one, double crochet, chain one, and did that to the bottom. And then did a front post, back post, alternating all the way around for 3 rows. I think 3 rows. Anyway, so I really like that one, like how that turned out. That was another thing that was deep stash. And the last one that's not the pattern I'm working on is a free pattern. Of course, I can't remember who the designer is, even though I totally should. So this hat is amazing and has made me question why I've never really been into neutral yarns. Maybe it's because this yarn is amazing. But again, this is the Muirwoods Chipmunk, and this is a basket weave stitch beanie. Absolutely wonderful, and it's got the fuzzy palm on it. Fuzz. Really, really like the way this one turned out. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen it already. The only difference I did in closing up the top is I did a few more increases, which made it a little more slouchy, I guess, but I don't like how puckered it makes the top look. If you decrease it out here, it just pulls everything in funny and it just makes it look crumpled. So I just did another decrease row or two. I don't even remember how many. But it was very nice. The basket weave stitch is time consuming, even though I consider myself a pro at front post, back post, double crochet. Takes a lot of time. The end result is gorgeous and squishy. Definitely recommend it. So I'll link to all of the patterns that aren't ones that I made up in my head down below the video. So there's that one. And now we are to, oh, one little more tiny thing. Little teeny tiny octopus from the Mohu Mohu blog. Free pattern. This is the last bit of the koi pond yarn that I had. I think I actually used the very last of it to make this thing. Because I ended up making a rosy wrap and a couple of hats with it. And I actually put this little thing together while I was at the craft market. Yeah. So, these things. This is how progression of pattern creation works, at least for me. Come up with an idea, so you make it. This is the first attempt at what I'm going to call the Bermuda Triangle hat. This is going to be part of a collection that I am making that will include a hat, a cowl, a messy bun version, and gloves. So this is standard back loop only brim, and this entire thing is triangle stitch. However, the yarns that I used, which are Hirschner's Holiday, Sparkle, whatever the black Halloween one is, and Premier Sweet Roll, Wild Cherry Swirl. I feel like all of that together makes it so busy that you can't really see the stitches the way that I wanted to. So I can kind of roll it up because this thing has a teeny tiny skull. There we go. So this is how this looks on here. I have worn it out myself as well, more slouched with it thusly. And it's alright. I kind of like it. It's usable. I considered putting a palm on it and then thought, not really. So then I was like, okay, so that's a double-stranded version. Let's try it with bulky weight just to check the patterning and see how that works. And I altered a few things as I went. And that should be on the back. And here we go with that. So that is what it looks like on a regular person. Well, that is what it looks like on a mannequin. If you've seen my Instagram, you know what it looks like on a human, because I am a human. And as you can see, the top, even though it's worked from the bottom up, does not have a big bubbly, rumply yuckness from cinching it together. So, if it's a normal human, like so. And as you can see, the stitches are much more pronounced in this yarn that's not quite so busy. This is triangle stitch, which I like very, very much. It's featured very heavily in my Hangetsu shawl. And the last one, I still have a couple minutes left, yes. And the last one is a worsted weight version done just in the Premier Sweet Roll. Again, Wild Cherry Swirl. Where is the back portion? There we go. So this is how the plain worsted weight version worked up. I like it a lot. I've just about perfected the decreases. It does have a little bit of a bump when you bring it together. I think I decreased a touch too much, but the pom-pom covers it up, so that's fine. So there's that, which I am very pleased with. And that is the last thing that I have done. So I'm going to set this down. Move that over to the side. I am mostly right now just working on using up as much yarn as I possibly can. I want to get this Bermuda Triangle collection finished, finalized, and up within the next couple of weeks. I would really... I have an idea for a few other patterns that I would like to release as well, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them done before moving out. Yeah. So there's a lot going on. My brain is constantly going in 20 directions all at once. And I've had a few days where I have been able to accomplish exactly nothing, because I've just been so overwhelmed with everything going on, and the reality of now having to talk about how we're going to split up furniture and things is kind of starting to freak me out. Yeah, so lots of fun there. And just all of that stuff, all that fun stuff that comes along with a giant life change like divorce. So if anybody else is going through crap like that, I'm with you. If you want to message me on Facebook, I'm more than happy to talk. Message me on Instagram, anything. I've had a few people reach out to me about the live where I genuinely brought it up for the first time and actually burst into tears, and then I didn't go back through and edit it out. So if you're one of those people who loves drama and want to watch me totally just lose my shit live, go check it out. I feel like I handled it pretty well, aside from getting angry at myself for losing my composure. But, you know, it's real life. It happens. It's a thing. Even people like me who look like we're so strong and determined and independent, we just want somebody to love us for who we are at the end of the day too, you know? It is what it is. So, before I burst into tears again and am actually able to edit it out because I'm recording this time around, and see, Nurgle can tell. He's my empath right here, this one. Hey, buddy. I'm going to show you the few other things that I bought at Michael's. I didn't get a lot, but I did post on the community tab a picture of the 2 bags of yarn, which look huge, even though I didn't buy that much, because everything I bought was a giant skein of yarn, 2 of those things being the Bernat Blanket Big Yarn. So the black and the black, white, gray combo yarns in the blanket are the 2 that I bought the other day when I was at Michael's, and now I'm going to show you the other things. Some of this stuff is actually going to be for, I'm not quite decided which ones yet, but at least one of these is going to be for a giveaway, because once I have my pattern completely all together, like the whole thing, I'm going to do a giveaway of the pattern collection and some yarn and stitch marker, maybe a clay covered hook, which I've really only done for myself just to play around before. So I'm not sure about that. We'll see. Don't quote me on that, but some of this stuff will not be staying with me forever. So I mostly got Karen Big Cakes, which these are all acrylic as far as I know. Yeah, these are acrylic. They're not partly wool. This particular colorway is Cookie Crumble, and it is black, white, gray, very neutral with little speckles, which I really like. Stay. Let's see if I can stack it next to me here. Also got this one, which is tiramisu, which if you've never had it is super duper yummy. It's not my most favorite thing, but it is pretty delish. Also got afternoon tea, which is a minty green, some gray, white, and kind of almost a tea-stained brownish yellow, which I thought looked really nice together. Stay. I got 2 of these. This is the same one. Blue macaroon. I did get 2 of the same one, right? Yeah. Blue macaroon. So these, that's the last of the big cakes that I got. Where am I gonna put these? I guess I can stack them there. See, the nice thing about these big flat ones is they're easier to stack than the regular skeins that roll everywhere. Less chance of an avalanche. And by the way, it's really weird, but the sun has come out today, so if I look kind of glowing and ghostly over on the side, just tell yourself I'm an angel. It's all good, right? Let me get all of these out. Whoa! 4, because I think I got 5 of these, right? Yes, alright. So I didn't get all the same type, did I? I don't think so. 2, 3, I guess 4, 5. Alright, so I did get all the same colorway, they just don't look like they're the same dye lot, which is fine. So I got some Charisma Tweed Hues, which is Loops and Threads. It's a Michael's brand, and these are all the colorway Cappuccino. And it's tealy blue and green and some taupe color almost with the little tweed speckles all throughout it. I got 5 of these because I want to see how many yards it makes for me to take an entire set with hat, cowl, and gloves. I figure this should be more than enough, maybe enough to have some left over. We will see. And these were on sale. I want to say they were on sale for either $2 or $3 each, and they're regularly a bit more than that. Usually I buy Charisma when they're on sale 2 for $5, so I don't usually pay full price for them anyway. Stay. All the falling things. And then this is something unexpected. So I got 3 bags of Charisma. in different colorways, which is a bulky weight yarn. And let me see if I can see the colorway without ripping it open, because I don't really want to separate it. Does it say on here anywhere? Alright, so this one, if you can see it through the shiny of the bag, is red, gray, black, whitish speckle. This one is called Granite, and apparently this is the Charisma Marble. So this is 3 full skeins in here, and one of these bags was $4, I think. Pretty good deal there. So 3 for $4 as opposed to 2 for $5, which is the usual sale price. It's pretty darn good. This one is called Midnight, I believe. Nope, take that back. This is Denim. It is a dark blue and a steel gray. If you can see it through the bag. Yep. So that. Sorry, Mr. Kitty. And this last one is called Midnight. It is another gray, but it is with a very dark eggplant purple. So yeah, that. So all told, I spent more than I planned to, because the only thing I went in the store for was the Bernat Blanket Big and one of the Karen Big Cakes. But I stayed under the budget I set myself, so I did alright. All of that stuff I just showed you, $80 after tax. Pretty decent. So aside from the fact that I have added a few more bags to my shop, I've got more stuff that'll be going up soon. And that is really it for me for now. So thank you so much everybody for watching. Thank you as always to the supporters over on patreon.com/randomrandy. My patrons are awesome. And you'll see their names all roll by in just a minute. And I will catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching everybody. Bye.